It started like any other Friday night. Dinner with a few of his coworkers, laughter, and a little too much wine. I went along reluctantly, mostly because he insisted. "Come on, it'll be fun," he said, that morning with a teasing smile. I knew his office crowd, loud, flirty, always pushing boundaries after a few drinks. But I went along, hoping to show support. We arrived at a cozy bistro in downtown Portland around 7, the kind with dim lighting and an open kitchen. The jokes started flowing fast. His friends were already tipsy, his boss trying too hard to be funny, and my partner, Julian, was glowing under all the attention. I didn't mind at first. I'd always admired his charm. But by dessert, I could feel the tension, the kind that simmers just before someone crosses a line. It happened suddenly, like a cruel prank by fate. One of his colleagues, a loud-mouthed guy named Theo, joked about relationships, comparing exes and current partners. Julian, who was better, your boyfriend or that actor you used to date in college, Theo teased, half laughing, completely drunk. I expected Julian to roll his eyes or shut it down. Instead, he grinned, looked right at me, and said, "Well, let's just say the actor had more presence." The table erupted with laughter. Some laughed awkwardly, others looked away, uncomfortable. My chest tightened. His tone was playful, but the words cut deep. He just humiliated me in front of his boss, his friends, and even a few strangers. I could feel the heat rising in my face. For a moment, I considered leaving. But then something inside me, the part that had absorbed years of subtle jabs, little jokes, moments of disregard, finally snapped. I smiled, calm and cold, and said, "You're right. He did have more presence. That's probably why he had no patience left for your neediness." The laughter stopped. Julian's smile froze. The table went dead silent. Theo choked on his drink. His boss looked like he wished he could disappear. I leaned back, still smiling, and added, "And I suppose that's why you're with me now. I had the endurance to tolerate your insecurities." Then I raised my glass and said, "To second choices, they last longer." Julian's face went pale. He tried to laugh it off, muttering something about joking, but the mood had shifted. People looked away, awkwardly checking their phones, or suddenly interested in their wine. Even the waiter looked rattled. I saw the flicker of realization in Julian's eyes that he'd gone too far. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. My calm was louder than any outburst. After a few moments, I stood, pulled out my wallet, dropped a couple bills on the table, and said, "Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll leave you to your little roast." The night air was cool as I stepped outside, the buzz of the city wrapping around me. My hands trembled, not from fear or anger, but from release. 3 years I'd been the butt of his edgy jokes, the one he teased for being too serious, too careful, too boring. But that night, as I stood on the sidewalk, under the neon restaurant sign, I felt a stillness I hadn't felt in years. I walked home. We lived in a loft not far from the river. By the time he stumbled in, his voice soft, eyes apologetic, I had already packed a bag. "You're really leaving over a joke?" he asked, his voice cracking. I looked at him and said softly, "No, Julian. I'm leaving because that joke was the truth you didn't realize you'd been hiding in your smile." He tried to explain. He reached for me, pleaded. "It was just stupid. I didn't mean it." I shook my head. "Maybe you didn't, but you meant the laugh. You meant for everyone to see me as less than you. And that's enough." I stepped past him, out the door of the home that had become more his audience than our sanctuary. He followed me to the curb, crying, desperate, but I didn't turn back. I got into a cab and left. 3 weeks later, I signed the papers. He tried reaching out, long texts, late-night voicemails, apologies laced with nostalgia, but something in me had shifted. Once trust cracks, It doesn't glue back the same way. I found a new job at a publishing house, started running in the mornings, took up watercolor painting, moved into a studio apartment across the city, small, warm, full of light, a place that held no echoes of laughter that turned into knives. Every now and then, one of his friends would message, "He's different now, he regrets it." But I never replied. He'd made his joke. I delivered my truth. A year passed. I ran into him at a bookstore on Hawthorne. He looked thinner, tired. He smiled faintly, said, "You look peaceful." I nodded. "I am." He hesitated, then whispered, "I wish I hadn't said that night." I looked him in the eye and replied, "So do I. But maybe if you hadn't, I'd still be wondering what I was worth." I paid for my book, stepped outside into the golden autumn light, and walked down the street, easy, unburdened, whole.